What's the hardest metaphorical pill you've had to swallow? Sometimes your friends don't consider themselves as close to you as you do to them. The hard pill. This doesn't make them a bad friend. It just means that everyone has their own social network and you can't always be at the center of everyone's. No matter how wrong someone is or how painfully obvious a solution to one of their problems is to you, sometimes they have to figure it out on their own and there's nothing you can do to change that. Having a kid taught me this. I can tell her the stove is hot, but it has to be experienced anyway. Same with, certain things are sharp. No matter how I explain it, or even try to show her, she'll end up testing it. Super simple, but some things aren't just meant to be. A relationship, job, whatever. It's not lack of trying or wanting. It's just how she goes, bubs. The fricking way she goes. And sometimes you end up prostituting yourself for cheeseburgers. Way she goes. Sometimes I'm the problem. I'm the one who needs to chill out and back away from the situation. So many people live and die without ever truly understanding this. The only constant in my life is me. I can do all I want to keep another person in my life, but we ultimately do not decide whether they stick around or not. Don't throw good money after bad. Don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. Just because you've invested a lot of time, money, effort, emotion into something or someone, doesn't mean that you should continue investing in them hoping that things will change. Sometimes it's better to cut your losses and accept that while you may have wasted time and energy on something, that it's better to stop hemorrhaging resources when it's clear that you aren't getting the outcome you want. It's still better to have wasted 2 years on something that didn't work out than wasting 10 years on it because you figure you've invested too much to quit. Whoa, I needed to hear this. I screenshotted it so I don't lose it. I hate what I went to college for. Stuffed that 4-year degree in a blender and found a new job. Couldn't be happier now, even with less money. Man, I would have bought that degree off you. I was the bad guy in my last relationship and I hurt the person I loved. I'd give anything to go back in time and punch myself in the face to straighten out with the crap I was pulling. Sounds like you already swallowed the bitter pill though. Self-reflection leads to being a better person. That all good things come to an end at some point. Just got out of a rough spot because of that. Things are really starting to go good, and I really don't want it to end, but one day it will. Hopefully that day is a long ways away. King Solomon once cared for a magical ring that would make any man who was happy sad and man who was sad happy. He was given a good ring inscribed with "This too shall pass." Being yourself often isn't enough. There is no inherent merit to authenticity, which is sometimes merely a euphemism for stubbornness. Sometimes you need to kill off parts of yourself so that something stronger and better can replace them. Yet, being myself when I'm angry has never worked out for me. I wish I could be someone else now and then. Sometimes the reason you aren't a doctor or lawyer or a well-paying profession is simply because you were too lazy rather than not having the ability. Yet laziness keeps you from achieving quite a bit, not to mention the rationalization that you weren't meant to do it or it wasn't worth your time, etc. Heard this somewhere else and liked it. People don't have to like you, and no matter how likable you are, some people just won't like you. That's okay. You can be the most delicious strawberry, but some people just don't like strawberries. Life gets so much better when you learn this, because you're not always wondering why people don't like you. You just live with it. At some point in life you also realize that if they don't like you, then there's no reason to try anymore and you can finally relax mentally. I was raised in a home where tidiness and brushing your teeth wasn't taught to me. As a 21-year-old who wants to be married one day, I'm having to learn that. Gotta take care of those teeth, man. The other stuff is just bad habits to break, that you can do. Someday, everyone and everything will be dead. It's not just that you won't be alive anymore, you won't even be remembered. Regardless of what you or anyone else does, the end result is the same. You can't help anyone that isn't helping themselves. There's nothing you can do for them unless they help themselves too. Nothing. If that guy wanted to have CPR done on him, he should have put in some effort too. On a less joking note, I agree with your point. I grew up religious and feared sin and temptation. Anything that could be construed as sin, I would avoid at all costs. It took me forever to realize that temptations are healthy and often point you towards something you need. It's taking the temptation too far that is wrong, not the temptation itself. Like, being hungry is okay, but overeating is bad. It's okay to be attracted to people, but objectifying them is bad. Those kinds of things. And life is finding out what your balance is in each of those dichotomies. The hardest metaphorical pill I've had to swallow was probably the one where it later turned out it was a metaphorical suppository. You can't force people to reason if they don't want to. Also, if they want to do something with you, they would do something about you. And finally, for some people actions and words go in completely opposite directions. Always look at the actions. In a sense, I knew all these things theoretically, but it's different when you get the experience to validate it. Egocentric bias. We tend to remember things how they pertain to ourselves, not other people. Often our memories of our experiences put ourselves in the best possible light to maintain our ego. Somebody can do something that's really embarrassing. They'll typically recall that it was no big deal and people laughed. We'll yell at people who drive poorly and complain about it later. When we do the exact same thing later on, we chuckle and laugh it off to maintain ego. When we complain about people being stupid, we've usually done the same thing before. We forget quickly due to our egocentric bias, so our ego can be maintained. We crap on others for doing the same thing because we don't remember we do the same crap, and it boosts our own egos to do so. We're all dumb sometimes. That's okay. No matter how much anyone likes you or loves you, they have their own life to live and you have your own life to live. No one else is really going to help you or fix things for you. You are on your own and always will be. No one wants to talk to a depressed person, and depression actively makes you less desirable company to others. That one hurts a lot. As someone who suffers constantly, I think I've often romanticized the idea that if people see that you're not doing well, then maybe they'll take the time to try and talk to you or brighten your day a bit. That's not how it works though. They just don't want to know. And it's hard to blame them because it's obviously not their problem. That's a particularly hard pill to swallow for me. The world doesn't give a crap. It will move on without you. You're right. Nobody wants to be around a sick person, regardless if that sickness is physical or mental. If someone helps you, it's because they gain something from it, even if what they gain is just the satisfaction of having helped someone. And that's okay. It's in our nature and doesn't change the fact that they're helping you. You do nothing on your own. Everything you achieve is a result of other people's actions helping you be able to be in the position you are today. You stand on the shoulders of giants in every way. This is your inheritance as a human, in the form of infrastructure, society, security, healthcare, technology, vaccination, peace. Everything that allows you to have a choice in the course of your life is the result of someone in the past constructing a better world. Take this hard to swallow pill and consider it when you decide what actions to take in your daily life. I found it beneficial to realize we are not standing on the shoulders of giants. We reach as high and far as we can on the shoulders of regular people, like me, and I will help others up to stand on me. The people you love can die, just like that. Suicide, accidents, whatever, and the reasons you're missing them are, oftentimes, quite selfish. If they kill themselves, then having them back here, right now, would probably just make them miserable. I've seen this argument when people talk about suicide, but XYZ will miss you. Ah yes, getting out of bed is a struggle, and it just feels like waiting for the grave, but we carry on just so someone else isn't sad. There is nobody in the world who can save you. It's all on you. Be it your mental health or your happiness. Nobody can help you truly except yourself. I am the most reliable, level-headed person alive in my family. Therefore I can't really count on anyone. I miss my dad. I just wanna let you know I don't know you, but I love you. You're awesome. I'm sorry your dad isn't there to be your sidekick. Sometimes it's genetics, and it doesn't matter how you try to counterbalance it. It sucks and, most likely, not your fault. Also, it's damned expensive. Nothing in life dictates ease, fairness, or justice. We try to set up institutions to pursue these goals, but more often than not they are corrupted by the nature of people. It is hard to admit that your life is a burden you need to carry. It is hard to accept that sometimes you will do everything right and fail. It is hard to address that however hard you push yourself, life is bound to throw new obstacles your way and never give you a break. The hardest pill to swallow is that of total responsibility. But when we look in history at peoples who have attempted to relieve themselves from this duty, we find the genesis of despotism. Genesis of despotism translated, the formation of absolute power in a cruel and oppressive way. Had to look it up, thought I'd share. I'm not a millionaire who is down on his luck. I was born poor. I am poor. I will die poor. I will never be very wealthy. I was born pretty well off and managed to turn that into a thousandaire because I'm a crappy person. Don't see that movie very often. Pain, sadness, anger, fear, sickness, loneliness are all necessary for you to appreciate happiness, togetherness, serenity, healthiness and life in general. That, at the end of the day, I'm responsible for what happens in my life. Sometimes people do crappy things that are unwarranted and out of my control, but I get to choose how I react to it and how it impacts my mental health. If I want to be free, it's on me and no one else. Someone fricks me over, I shouldn't have trusted them. I got fired from my job. I should have been a better employee. Oh, that boss was a dong? Well, he didn't show up with a gun and force me to work for him. Basically, the world exists. Businesses, governments and the people that make them up exist regardless of me. I am responsible for navigating that to the best of my ability. This is often a double-edged sword. Some people can digest this and try to be better, but I know many people who would hear this and feel shameful, pushing themselves further down the rabbit hole of depression. That I have been the toxic person and destroyed relationships with people I really cared about, and the kindest thing I can do for them is to stay away from them. Sometimes there's no right choice. Sometimes the outcome will be bad no matter what you choose to do, but you still have to choose. AKA stop being such a B. Jon Snow. Sometimes no matter how hard you try and work, when if it's not for you, it's not for you, and then there's people that's much better than you. No matter how much you love each other, if it's not meant to be, you can try as hard as you want and it's still not gonna work. And if the other person isn't willing to try, there is nothing you can do. Currently choking on this pill myself. The hardest thing for me, that comes up over and over and over, is this. That thing that's bothering you, that person you can't get over, that death that you can't move past. Whatever it is, the answer is to be grateful. And it's hard. And I usually can't, but it is the only way through emo. You aren't that important in the grand scheme of things. People don't think about you as much as you think. Relax, don't sweat your small mistakes. When I found out I was born with an abnormally small throat and I would never get to live my dream of being a pharmaceutical tester, that was a tough pill to swallow. I guess all pills are tough to swallow for you. Nothing I do or say will ever make my family believe in me. It's not really exclusive to families though. It's basically just that if someone isn't interested in becoming understanding or supportive, they will continue to be somewhere between dismissive and hateful, whatever it is they do. Don't waste time or energy trying to give them resources or cut them slack for their missteps. Those breaks are for people who mess up while actually trying. If they aren't actually trying, not even a little, it is not going to do anything but make things harder for you. On a related note, it takes a lot of education about what constitutes a healthy relationship for you to be able to tell the difference between strained and abusive neglectful. Oftentimes we give a pass to abusive people thinking the relationship is just a bit rocky, or we cut someone out when it could have been fixed, because we jump straight to abuse. Everyone should learn the difference from professional sources. Because strained relationships can be fixed with both people trying, it just takes some work and compromise. Abusive, neglectful relationships cannot be fixed, because there is at least one person who doesn't care about fixing it, and once you know the difference, handling your existing relationships takes a very realistic viewpoint, for better or worse, and it's extremely uncomfortable. I am an ugly loser. character is great, but that won't get me far, because I just lost the gene lottery and will always struggle to fix the first impression people have of me. If I am going to live a life most conducive to my own health and stability, it's inevitable that I will disappoint one or more people who are close to me. The vast majority of people in the world don't care about you as a person, they only care about what you can do for them and what they might have to do for you. Accepting that my first boyfriend was completely right to leave me, and it was entirely my fault, I didn't deserve him, and he absolutely deserved better than me. Being good, truly good, requires doing good things without the expectation of receiving something in return. Only when you are inherently owed nothing for a good action yet do it anyway for its own sake do you enact true kindness. Opportunity cost is a very real thing. The time I spent scrolling through Reddit today could have been spent on something I actually enjoyed or on studying or helping people or anything else. Your spouse does not exist to provide you with free therapy, laundry, food, cleaning, and sex. You have to respect someone's boundaries even if you don't benefit from them. You have to be able to look after yourself and pull your own weight. You should be able to help them and pull extra weight if they're struggling. If you are looking for someone to serve you or complete you, you are not ready for a relationship and you should not be in one. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.